All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is David Garofalo. He is the CEO of Gold Royalty Corp. And David, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm delighted to see you. I'm very well, thank you.
Awesome. Good to hear. And very excited to talk a little bit about the company. It's been around for a little while and it's been really seeing some incredible growth over the last couple of years. Maybe take me back and give me some little background information on the company.
Yeah, we actually launched in August 2020 as a private company, initially with 18 royalties on a dozen development stage gold assets within the Americas, owned by our former parent company, Gold Mining Inc. We were spun out in an IPO of March of 2021, looking to raise about $30 million on the strength of that initial portfolio, raised $90 million and achieved a post-money valuation of $200 million on the IPO, and that was on the NYSE American. So I'm talking in US dollars. Recognizing that we had a very strong currency, we actually started rolling up some of our competitors over the course of 2021 and bought three companies: Ely Royalties, Golden Valley, and Abitibi Royalties. And that added 150 royalties into the portfolio, a number of them cash flowing. And in tandem with a number of other financings we did a few project financings, third-party royalty acquisitions, and generate our own royalties organically. We've now grown that royalty portfolio to over 240 royalties, principally across the Americas. We recently added an asset in Bosnia, which I'll talk about a little later on, but that's really added significant cash flow into the portfolio and gives us peer-leading growth in revenue right through the end of the decade.
Yeah. Are you looking mostly at certain metals or certain types of royalties? What are you looking at?
Well, over 90% of our exposure is gold. So our name is I think entirely appropriate for the company we've built out. But we've added recently a couple of copper opportunities as well. We have a royalty on the copper silver mine operated by Capstone in Mexico, Cozamin. And most recently, we bought a copper stream on Adriatic Metals' newest mine, Varus, in Bosnia, which brings significant copper exposure into the portfolio as well to complement what we have on the gold side.
David, I know a lot of people the last little while that mining industry has been struggling over the last few years. Is that a great opportunity for a company like yours to be able to leverage the capital that you have in order to help some people out and increase your royalty streams?
Absolutely. It's been a nuclear winter for the juniors in our space for probably a dozen years. They've had, varying windows of opportunity to raise capital, but literally it's lasted for months. So they haven't had the opportunity to get consistent budgets in place to conduct grassroots exploration, or for that matter, expand existing mines or build new ones. So we have been looking at a significant number of opportunities. We have a very full pipeline. Since our IPO in March of 2021, we've actually looked at 350 different opportunities. We've actually executed only 10, and that includes the M&A that we've done. So we have a very heavy screen, but that just speaks to the dearth of capital that not only the juniors are experiencing, but I would say the emerging producers, developers, and whatnot. They're struggling to raise capital to maintain any relevance in a market where the general equity investors, the generalists, if you will, are largely ignoring the resource space.
Yeah. I've been reading recently, you've talked about 2024 as being a extremely pivotal year for the company just because of the growth you're expecting on a number of projects that are getting to a certain phase or a certain stage of where they are now. Can you sort of talk about the plan moving forward?
Yeah, we're looking at 160% growth in our revenue just on midpoint guidance this year relative to last year. And so this is going to be our first year of positive free cash flow generation and also positive earnings. And that's a remarkable achievement for a company that only started up 3 years ago with, again, 18 development stage royalties, nothing cash flowing at the time. And so we've grown out that portfolio quite dramatically in a very short period of time. Remarkable to go from 18 to over 240 royalties in 3 years, and 7 of them are cash flowing, 14 in various stages of construction. And we're looking at about 60% compounded annual growth in our revenue right through the end of the decade. The biggest drivers of our revenue growth are actually 3 of the 5 biggest producing gold mines in North America. We have a royalty in Canadian Malartic. We have a royalty on Côté, which IAMGOLD just started production on last March. And we have a royalty on the underground extension of Goldstrike, Ren, which will contribute meaningfully to our cash flow in the next couple of years as Barrick folds that into their block model. Beyond that, we have Cozamin, Borborema, and Varus, all of which are cash flowing currently to complement, which are very high quality foundational assets in those 3 long life, large scale operations in the Americas.
Well, it sounds like it's very exciting times for you and your team as well. David, thanks so much for giving us a bit of insight into what's going on at Gold Royalty Corp. And we look forward to following your story, okay?
Well, thanks for your time.
All right, there's David Garofalo, the CEO of Gold Royalty Corp.